At a time when bipartisan moments are few and far between, some progressives are willing to latch onto any hint of an across-the-aisle moment. Folks in the centrist to liberal mindset are hungry for those within the GOP who are willing to push back against what they perceive as Trump's erratic behavior and unacceptable policies. With this, we see some unlikely Republicans who've enjoyed a moment in the liberal spotlight. But just because someone in the GOP disagrees with a particular White House stance doesn't mean that they're an automatic champion of bipartisanship. Take Rand Paul, for example. His announcement that he would vote against Trump's declaration of a national emergency at the southern border earned him unexpected praise from pundits.
In fact, Senator Rand Paul was the very latest to go rogue on the president.
Clearly, this would be an extraordinary rebuke of President Trump.
And you get Rand Paul and 4, 5, 6 other Republicans, but the rest are falling in line.
I believe Rand Paul made a very good argument for conservative Republicans.
If you go past the surface of this announcement, the Kentucky senator goes on to explain that he opposes Trump's declaration because it sets a precedent in which Democrats may use the move to push their own agenda in the future.
Without question, the president's order for more wall money contradicts the will of Congress and will, in all likelihood, be struck down by the Supreme Court. In fact, I think the president's own picks to the Supreme Court may rebuke him on this.
So he's not opposing Trump's border emergency as a bipartisan statement, but rather trying to secure legislative power and stability for Republicans further down the road. Senator Jeff Flake falls into this category as well. Flake announced during Trump's first year in office that he would not seek re-election, citing the general ideological direction of the Republican Party under Trump.
Reckless, outrageous, and undignified behavior has become excused and countenanced as telling it like it is, when it is actually just reckless, outrageous, and undignified.
His announcement came as a shock, but seeing a member of the GOP denounce Trumpism delighted Democrats. Since this announcement in October of 2017, Flake had 34 opportunities to vote in a way that countered the Trump administration's position. Yet, Flake voted against the Trump position less than a third of the time by the end of his final year in the Senate. Then there are the lawmakers who immediately denounced Trump during his candidacy.
I think he's a kook. I think he's crazy. I think he's unfit for office.
And then quickly changed their tune once Trump got into office.
What did happen to Lindsey Graham? What changed your mind so dramatically about the president?
He beat me. He's president of the United States. I want him to be successful.
So any centrist attention garnered from their Never Trump phase has since faded. Or let's dial it back to the Affordable Care Act drama from the summer of 2017. Senator Susan Collins voted no on a series of bills aimed at repealing, replacing, or altogether dismantling the ACA.
But I have very serious concerns about the bill.
Her opposition to these bills, and thus her party, was seen as a bold move. But Collins originally voted against the ACA when it was first introduced under President Obama.
Ms. Collins. Yes. Ms. Collins. No.
And later in 2017, she voted to back a tax reform package that negated one of the ACA's key pillars, the individual mandate.
When the tax bill was on the floor, not a single Democratic senator offered an amendment to strike the repeal of the individual mandate. That's how unpopular it was.
These Senate Republicans have been revered by some on the left as moderate heroes in the Trump era when political party divides are deep and unchanging. Their buzzy opposition to party mainlines may be good for a catchy headline, but their voting records often don't reflect that same hype.
Because our Congress can't act. They can't act. They just can't act. The Democrats in Congress don't want to touch any of it.
In reality, it may just be that progressives are desperate for any trace of bipartisanship in these tense times.